fellas, I hope you had a chance to enjoy this beautiful day. What I want to talk about tonight is controlling the run game. All right, yesterday we spent time talking about proper leadoffs, some base stealing stuff. We've been talking about the offensive side of things. So let's look at the flip side, and we're going to talk about how do we control the run game so that other teams can't take advantage of what we're doing. Okay? There's a few ways we can do that. My play ball video today is all talking about pickoff drills. So I'm going to loop that one into this, and then I'm going to build on some other things for us as a program to think about. Okay? So when we're talking about controlling the run game, the big thing we want to do is limit these base runners from getting a good jump. Okay? And that allows me as a pitcher to help my catcher have a better chance of throwing a runner out. Okay? So things that we want to be thinking about. Varying our looks, okay? Stopping the runner's feet, prohibiting them from taking longer leadoffs, and then being quick to the plate. Okay? So we're going to go through each one of those things really quickly, and then you guys can also work on the mechanics of your picks. I'm going to do the left-handed version of that. Coach Chris sent me some videos of him as a right-handed pitcher so that you guys can see exactly what we want to work on in terms of pickoff moves. Hey guys, we got a beautiful day today, so let's get out and get some work in. I'm sure things are getting tedious, a lot of time hitting into the tee, doing some other drills, so let's break it up by doing something that we don't normally think about practicing. We're going to hit on our pickoff moves today. So I'm going to show you guys a setup that I think is going to work well for doing it outside and in a limited space. And if you're throwing baseballs, a way that we're not going to bang out balls by bouncing them into the ground. So take a look for our setup here. And be creative. Do your first base picks, do your second base picks, work on varying your looks. Anything you would normally do working on pickoff moves, let's figure out a way to do that. I'm going to come back with another video tomorrow talking about bunting. And I think we're at the point where cabin fever's starting to set in. Maybe we've been doing a lot of the same drills day after day after day. So let's take some of this time to focus on things that we don't normally practice so that when we get outside, we're not using that time to work on those things. All right, so we're going to use some things that I found around the garage. You can see my really extensive setup with my pitching rubber here. That's actually a piece of wood I just tried to spray paint, even though I ran out of spray paint. I've got an old towel that I'm going to use as my base, and I'm going to set up a basketball as my target. So when I'm working on picks, I want to try to make sure that I'm throwing the ball within a tag zone. Okay, so setting up a target that's going to be about shin height to knee height, where I'd want to hit my first baseman or hit my middle infielder. I'm going to use this basketball as a setup to give me something to throw to when I'm looking through my catch net. So find some stuff that you have around the garage. Be creative. Again, whatever you got works, okay? Don't use that as an excuse not to put the work in. All right, so behind me you can see my setup. I've got my target down at the end of the alley here. The reason I'm going to set my catch net up about 10 feet in front of my target is because I'm throwing baseballs. And rather than scuff up all my balls, I want to make sure I have a target, but I'm giving myself a chance that when it goes into the net, or if I were to skip one in, I'm not going to worry about balls going all the way down and hitting off the concrete. So depending on what your setup is, how you're being creative, find ways like this to make sure that you're not banging up all of your equipment. All right, so all I'm going to do right here is get set up. I'm going to work on an inside turn move at second base, lift, focus on my target, straight into my net. Another thing that you can do to work on being more accurate on these throws is to set up something and create a tunnel. All right, so I took a garbage can, a piece of wood. You can use whatever you have around the house or the garage, and that's going to make sure that by the time it gets to where my target is, I'm staying on line with my throw. All right, it's just forcing me through a narrower window when I hit my catch net, so that I know that that throw is going to be accurate when it gets to my target. So again, I'm going to work on now a throw to first base. All right, so now I know I need to work through that window, through that tunnel, to be more accurate. Hopefully that one gives you guys a good way to break up the monotony, but continue to be creative. Think about things that we would normally be practicing outside that you can work on during this downtime to take that time away when we do get out on a field again. All right, so things like bunting, base running, working on your stealing and leadoffs, okay? If you've got a brother at home, you could pair this one with working on jumps on my stealing, okay? He's working on his leadoffs, I can work on my jumps. All right, so again, keep being creative, stay safe, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow. One way that we can control the run game is by varying our looks. And what I mean by that is if I'm coming set and I have a runner on first base out in front of me as a left-handed pitcher, or if I'm a right-handed pitcher with my back to that runner. Okay, what I want to do is not let that runner know my rhythm as a pitcher. Okay, so I want to change the amount of times I look back at him every pitch. I want to keep my rhythm inconsistent so he can't get as good of a jump. So if, as a left-handed pitcher, if I come set and I'm looking at my catcher, I want to look over at him. Now, we can't turn our shoulders because that's a balk, okay? But as I turn my head, one pitch, I might look at him twice, the next pitch once, but every pitch, I'm going to change that up before I deliver to the plate so that he can't get my rhythm and get a good jump. Okay, on the flip side, as a base runner, we want to make sure we're looking for that rhythm. Okay, if a pitcher has a rhythm and we know he's a one look and deliver guy, then we know after he does that one look, he's delivering to the plate and we can get a better jump. Okay, so it's important to see both sides of this so that we understand what we want to do to get an advantage on the base running side or prevent an advantage on the defensive side. I want to give you guys a couple quick examples of varying your looks. So I found an old righty glove in the garage here. I think it's my brother's. I'm going to be a right-handed pitcher for a minute. I'm going to have my back to you. So I'm going to come set. And now the goal here is to change how many times I look over or the speed at which I look over to throw the runner off at first base. Okay, this also applies if I have a runner at second base. And then I deliver. Okay? All we want to do is make sure that they don't catch our rhythm. So if I have a runner at first base, without turning my shoulders, and then I deliver. Okay? Could be 3 looks, could be 1 look, could be no looks. Okay? But the goal here is not to let them know where you're going to be delivering pitch to pitch. Another way that we could help out our catcher is by doing a slide step. All right, so as a left-handed pitcher, rarely am I going to slide step because my move to first base is an asset. Okay, a left-handed pickoff move is a great way to throw off a runner and pick them off. Okay, so lefties aren't going to do this as often as righties, but they will mix it in just to throw off the runner's rhythm. Okay, so as a right-handed pitcher, when we're talking about a slide step, instead of giving a full leg lift and delivery, we're going to come set and just get to the plate. Okay, that's going to cut down on delivery time to give our catcher more time to throw that runner out. Okay, now if we have a runner on base that we're not worried about stealing or we're in a situation we're not worried about that runner, then we can stay in our regular rhythm and still do a full delivery to the plate. Okay, but in a situation where that might be a guy or an important run that we want to prevent from getting to second base or prevent from getting to third base, then we want to work in that shorter slide step to make sure our catcher has time to throw out a runner. All right, I'm going to demonstrate a couple left-handed pickoff moves to first base specifically, and then I'll focus on explaining our moves to second base, which is the same for a righty or for a lefty. If you are a right-handed pitcher and you want to jump through this part and go on to when I talk about second base, feel free. I'm also going to work in Coach Chris's videos so you guys can see it from a right-handed pitcher's perspective. But to hit on the left-handed pickoff move really quick, whether I'm left-handed or right-handed, we're going to have 2 moves at first base. Okay, one, and you'll see this from Coach Chris on the right-handed side, is a move where we're just showing the runner that we're going to throw over. Okay, it's not our best move. We call that our show move. Okay, we're just showing them that we're willing to throw over. Okay, then we're going to have a good move. We're going to have a move then when we're trying to pick guys off. So as a left-handed pitcher, when I come set, okay, I have the ability to hang for a second so that runner doesn't know if I'm going to go to him or if I'm going to go to first, or if I'm going to deliver to the plate. Sorry. So when I lift, I can do a couple things here. Okay, the things I cannot do. Okay, I cannot cross my leg. If I cross my leg, he can leave immediately. Okay, I can get close to crossing my leg, but if I cross and my foot gets behind my back leg, he has the ability to break and go. Okay, I cannot throw over at that point. Okay, so that's number one. What I can do is when I throw, I could be deceptive and start to move to the plate. And as long as my lead leg stays on a 45-degree line, I can still throw to first base. That's why this move is such an asset. So as I was saying before we got interrupted by that techno concert, my move to first base, as long as I stay on a 45-degree line, I can still go over. Now, depending on if there's 1 umpire, 2 umpires, We can even get away with a little more. You just have to feel that out as a pitcher, okay? But the goal here being on my good move, where I want to pick off that runner, is I want to be as close to that line as I can be when I throw to first base. Okay, on my regular show me move, I'm going to lift, and I'm going to deliberately just step right at him. Okay, so he knows that I'm working, he knows that I know he's there, I'm going to keep him close. But when I want to pick him off, if I catch him leaning, okay, I want to do anything I can to make it look like I'm going to deliver to the plate and still throw to first base. Two more things to think about on a left-handed move throw into first base. Number one is to make sure your first baseman knows your move. Okay? If I'm a young left-handed pitcher with a good move, I want to make sure my first baseman knows that move so that I don't fake him out as well. Okay? I can remember a time when I was younger and I was just starting to work on my move. I remember throwing over and hitting my first baseman square in the chest. Okay? He had already turned to watch the pitch, hit him right in the chest, runner took second base. Okay? So make sure they understand your move. Okay, another thing you could do to gain an advantage is deceive the runner with your head. Okay, a lot of younger players don't look at the legs like they're supposed to. They see the pitcher's face. Okay, so as a left-handed pitcher, if I'm looking at the runner and I lift and I look to the plate, but I still come over, a lot of times they're going to take their lead when they see you look to the plate. Okay, so if I'm comfortable with my accuracy, I come set, I can look like I'm going to the plate and still deliver the ball to first base. Okay, so it's little things like that, details that you can practice to make sure that you give yourself an advantage as a left-handed pitcher to keep that runner at bay. All right, now we're going to talk about our moves at second base, and we're going to utilize two different moves. The first one is going to rely on having quick feet to beat the runner back to the base. The second one is going to rely on matching the pace of my delivery so that I can deceive the runner and get him to break towards second base as I spin to throw. All right, so the first one, I'm going to come set. My back foot's going to clear off the rubber. I'm going to turn, and I'm going to deliver the ball to second base. All right, so this one's just working on me having quick feet. The quicker that I can get around and release the ball, the better chance I have of throwing a runner out. The second one we call our inside move. So on my inside move, I'm going to do a full leg lift like I'm delivering the ball to the plate, and I want to match that rhythm. So when I lift, I'm now going to spin inside towards my glove, and I'm going to throw to second base. So the goal being here is when I spin, that runner thinks I'm delivering the ball to the plate. He starts his secondary, and now instead of lifting and delivering, I lift and turn inside, throw behind the runner. So those are two ways that we can work pickoffs in at second base. so now that we've seen some different ways that we're going to use to control the running game, get to work on practicing it, all right? Build this into your regular throwing program. Just do a few every day. Work on your good move to first base, your show move to first base, work on your inside move to second base, work on your quick feet move to second base, okay? Get used to doing them all so in a game you're comfortable with it, okay? And as goofy as it is, work on varying your looks, work on your slide step, okay? Everything you can add to your arsenal to give our catcher a better shot to throw at a runner is going to help us prevent the other team from taking an advantage. All right, so I will see you guys back in the regular classroom session tomorrow, and then the plan for Thursday is to get you guys your first team group hang session. All right, so working on lining those up with your coaches right now, and then we're going to do those on Tuesday and Thursday next week as well. So we got some new things coming for you guys. Want to keep it fresh, but again, I'll see you tomorrow, and enjoy the rest of your night.
1, 2, 3.